Welcome to Mystery Date, where we dive into the weird, the wild, and the downright puzzling. While our podcast is primarily for entertainment with plenty of laughs along the way, we occasionally discuss serious and sensitive topics. Some content may not be suitable for all listeners, so discretion is advised. I'm Christian.
I'm Kate.
Welcome
Welcome
to
to
Mystery
Mystery
Date
Date
Movie
Movie Night.
This time we're leaving the mysteries to the filmmakers and we're turning our date night into a simple movie night.
We figured while we're between seasons, this is a good time for us to sit back and relax a little and switch things up before we get back into the real mysteries in season 2.
Tonight we're talking about the third installment in the iconic supernatural horror series, The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It.
We'll be breaking down the film's plot a little bit, giving some personal commentary, and then giving the film an overall rating.
So sit back, relax.
Grab your favorite movie snacks, and
Let's
let's
start
start
the
the show.
Classic peach Bellini. You've heard us.
I love Aldi Peach Bellini.
I was about to say you've heard us talk about it before, but it is good.
Snacks.
And $6.
Yeah.
So get yourself a bottle of peach Bellini. Aldi, come on. Where's the sponsor money? I know specifically I've had one listener reach out. John, shout out to you. Telling me that they have gotten Aldi wine because of us. So that's one person that's been sent your way. That's something we can get some kickback on. Come on.
I'm a serious Aldi fan. I'm in their Facebook Aisle of Shame group. It's a good time. If you're an Aldi shopper, you know what the Aisle of Shame is. And if you're not, find out.
If you don't have an Aldi near you either, go to Trader Joe's. Very much, it's
very
similar
similar
concept. So at least you got that. But I don't know how people are shopping without Aldi. Okay, that's enough. Enough about Aldi. We ended up watching, well, like we said in the intro, Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. Had you seen this movie before we watched it for the podcast?
I had not seen this movie, but I have seen the documentary about the real life story and court case and family.
Okay, the Netflix one, I think it was.
Yeah,
right?
I think it was on Netflix. And the Warrens weren't involved in that documentary. They mentioned them, but they weren't interviewed or on screen or anything for that.
I think by the time it came out, only Lorraine was.
I think
still
so,
living.
yeah. It wasn't that long ago
yeah.
that documentary came out.
Because she passed in 2019, I believe.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I had seen that documentary, so I knew a lot about this one's story going in, which I had known nothing about the first 2 Conjurings going in.
That's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
you have the real life basis before you went in here. You don't even need the mystery date episode we'll be doing.
Exactly, because I knew this one. So going in, I was like, hey, I know this one. I know these people. I know their real story. And then immediately thought to myself, wait, hang on. Why are they doing a Conjuring movie on this? In real life, the Warrens left like basically right away. So I was like, oh. All right, so this one's really dramatized. Got it. Like, moving on from our classic real-life haunting stories into, all right, this is Hollywood now.
Yes. We'll talk about it during our full season 2 when we dive into these actual real-life cases, but it's shocking when we do that, when you learn how little the Warrens' involvement actually was in a lot of these cases.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
And this one specifically, this and Enfield. And it's so funny. I feel like, I don't know. Once you finally break it down, you're like, man, they just showed up and left a day later.
And then made a movie like they were there for months and they were the heroes at the end. And it's like, you showed up, interviewed these people, said, we're not working with you, and left. Or vice versa. You showed up and the family said, yeah, we're not working with you, get out.
Yeah, or they kicked you out.
Like, I just feel like it's funny that we decided to make a bunch of movies that made these people like superheroes.
And real quick, just a few plugs before we start the show. If you guys ever want to support us, please be sure to give us a follow, a like, share us to all of your friends on social media, and also be sure to check out our website, mysterydatepodcast.com, for all of our updates and blogs. And then we also have mysteryandco.com, which is our new shop, which we're both repping some of that swag right here, the Cryptids, Creatures, and Conspiracies t-shirt.
The holiday special, the Gravy Slut.
Yeah, with a nice little gravy boat design in there, and they're all themed to our Mystery Co shop. That's the brand that's all under, but every time you purchase from there, that goes and directly helps the show. So if you don't want to just send money out into a void in any way, you can purchase a shirt, and hey, you get something and we get something. It's a great way to show your love. Just wanted to put that out on the front, get that out there.
Yeah, we've got lots of fun designs on there. Some cryptid stuff, some fun paranormal looking things. Like we've got some fun stuff.
Yeah, and more stuff is coming too. Right now, there's a lot of holiday themed stuff. If you want Bigfoot sweaters, Loveman sweaters, Mothman sweaters, stuff like that. But moving forward, a lot of the stuff will be limited release things that are updated and changed throughout the time. So that's kind of incentive to get it even more. I mean, it's not going to be there forever.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, hey, if you want to show up next Thanksgiving wearing this bad boy, which I highly recommend, like, what a conversation starter for family dinner. You better get it now, because we might not have it back in time next year.
Exactly. Or if it might not even come back.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
So getting into the film here, we have the cast and crew, which we always go over in these little movie date episodes. But The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It was directed by Michael Chavez, taking over the mainline franchise from James Wan, who remained on board as a producer. The film stars Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, returning as paranormal investigators Lorraine and Ed Warren. Supporting roles include Ruairi O'Connor as Arnie Johnson, Sarah Catherine Hook as Debbie Glatzel, and Julian Hillard as David Glatzel. The cinematography this time around was handled by Michael Burgess, who brought a slightly moodier and grounded look to this third installment, that's something I want to talk about right up at the front. I'm sure you've noticed in this cast and crew breakdown, it seems like a lot of things have been shaken up within the actual background.
Yeah, things changed, and you can tell. I'm not saying it's for better or for worse, but you can tell by watching this third installment that it feels and looks different than the first two.
Yeah, someone different is at the helm of this ship.
Yeah,
you get that.
The fact that it's a new director and a new cinematographer than the first two tracks, because they're clearly doing some different things.
Yeah. So after breaking down the cast and crew, we like to discuss the plot a little bit, give everybody a little bit of a refresher, and just kind of refresh our minds. There's stuff that we saw during it that we want to point out. This film opens with an exorcism, like a lot of our Conjuring films do, of an 8-year-old David Glatzel, which the Warrens are overseeing with a priest. The situation then spirals out of control, furniture flies, David contorts, and Ed suffers a heart attack.
Yeah, things escalate very quickly.
This intro is 0 to 100 real quick, which is funny to me because I feel like almost all of the other Conjuring movies are slow burns.
They are slow.
This one lit itself on fire and then died.
And then eased off. Yeah. This one starts in the middle of immediate and chaotic climactic feeling action. And then it's like, all right, let's build a story from here. And it's like, whoa, wait, what?
Yeah, it's a little jarring. In a desperate attempt to save David, Arnie Johnson invites the demon into himself, telling it to take him instead, setting up the rest of the story from there on. From there, Ed ends up recovering, and he wakes up in a hospital and immediately tells Lorraine that the demon didn't go back to hell. It went into Arnie. And there's a pretty cool scene when Arnie does do that transition. I like the...
Oh, yeah.
I'm assuming, if you've watched our previous movie nights, you'd get this too. I'm assuming the ghost or demon vomited it into his mouth. We just didn't get to see it.
And we didn't see it. But yeah, there was a moment where it was like, okay. And then I do like how it shows this sequence of, like, after this exorcism with David, things calm down and they think, okay, I think we did it. I think we won. We beat it. Let's help Ed get him to the hospital. And the family kind of just goes back to life thinking that it's over now. And then Arnie this day is just like slowly looking sicker and like just more unwell. And he's like sweaty and pale. And he's like, looks like he's slowly dying on this couch that he's like hanging out with his girlfriend and their landlord or boss or whoever. And
yeah, and she notices. She does bring it up a little bit.
She does notice it. But it's like that sequence of watching him slowly become unwell and then watching this like haunt creature, demon, whatever spirit like kind of come after him. They do some really cool effects with like lighting, and there's some cool things going on in that scene.
I remember too, the documentary does like a little bit of dramatization, like reenactments, doesn't it? Because I think they do show this scene in the documentary. And it is pretty similar to what they show and describe, at least in that, from what I remember. Well, it's, and you pointed it out, it's at the church in the real thing, right?
In the real thing, the exorcism happened at the church, not at the Glatzel's house.
Okay, yeah.
And then from that point on, basically, spoilers for the real life story here, but as soon as that moment happens where things start to calm down and Arnie's screaming like, leave the kid alone, take me instead, Ed Warren basically looks at Arnie and is like, big mistake, kid. I told you not to do that. I told you not to talk to it and to never invite it in. Good luck to you. And then they left. The Warrens were like, okay, well, you've just invited the demon. Like, we're not helping you anymore. Bye. And then they left. And then the family was kind of on their own after that. I think the Warrens were consulted and kind of helped out a little bit behind the scenes once the court case started, but they weren't nearly as involved as they are in the movie.
Well, it'll be interesting to find out the full story in season 2. Yeah, so you got to check back for that. Moving on from there, the Warrens realize that David's case is not just a simple possession, but something that seemed orchestrated. And now living with Debbie, Arnie begins experiencing hallucinations and oppressive dynamic. I don't even know. Is that even a word? It sounds legit.
Dynamic.
Dynamic.
Probably some math term, like relating to the denominator. Like it's a dynamic.
There we go.
Numeral.
I'm like that word sounds too official and legit not to be real. Now living with Debbie, Arnie begins experiencing hallucinations and oppressive demonic influences. During a violent, disorienting episode, Arnie ends up stabbing his landlord, Bruno Sauls, 22 times, which that was an awesome sequence.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, where like they did some amazing things. There's like flashing red lights. It goes to slow-mo. They've got this banger soundtrack going in the background.
I can't remember
like,
what song is playing.
I don't remember the exact song at that moment. I just wrote, because all I wrote down was low-key, anytime they play a real song in these movies, it's such a banger.
It is. The actual like
anytime they have a soundtrack and not just a musical score, it's like, dang, good pick. But yeah, that scene's so good with the flashing red light, the slow-mo, the music, and then there's just this sudden stop and silence, and then a jump scare, and it's so good.
I'm not going to be able to figure it out. It's too specific. But it's a really good song. That sequence is freaking great. With the flashing red lights and like it goes from what he sees to what everybody else sees back and forth.
Yeah, it's cool. You get like almost a dual perspective on the moment. Like it's really intense. It's like, wow, that really pulled me in because I'm not the greatest audience member for these movies. I'm usually talking a little bit of shit about how like this is stupid or they're stupid.
We talked about it. You reject horror.
Yeah, I'm like, this isn't even scary. So like that scene was very impressive to me because I'm like, ooh, I got chills and that jump scare got me. Like, so it was good. And then pretty much immediately after that, Arnie runs into the cops. He like wakes up on the road basically and a cop runs into him and he's just covered in Bruno's blood. And he looks at the cop all, I think I hurt someone.
Yeah, I do love that scene. Not that I've ever seen.
It's like, oh my God, buddy, did you ever?
Not that I've ever seen the original like Incredible Hulk show from the 70s, but it gave me, I've seen the reenactment scenes of Lou Ferrigno, whoever it is, walking along the side of the road to the sad music. It kind of reminded me, gave me that vibe, but he's just covered in blood. Just
covered in blood, and the cop's like, hey, don't move, what's going on? What happened here? And he's like, looks at himself, I think I hurt someone.
Yeah, and the sharp contrast between those two scenes too, because it literally ends with the apex of the murder scene and all this intensity and colors flashing, and then quick cut to just silence and him walking down the street covered in blood.
And it's like, I don't know if it's raining or if it's just
it's not.
Gray,
it's sunny. No, it's sunny. Nice.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's nice and sunny. I think it looks even better that way. Maybe that's why.
I'm like, it's just peaceful. Like, it's like that eerily peaceful and quiet surroundings and then just this jarring, lone man covered in blood. And he doesn't even know what's just happened. He's so confused himself.
Well, yeah, like I heard someone.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know. I think I was possessed for a second. And then it also seemed like I was killing a monster. And then I just woke up walking here. I think this looks bad.
This looks bad.
He's like, I think something went wrong, officer.
Well, something definitely did go wrong because from there he's arrested. Rightfully so. And becomes the first American defendant to later on claim demonic possession as a legal defense.
And I just gotta say, whether you're a believer or not, like, even if we assumed 90% of people out here were Christians and believers of possible demonic and ghostly activity, you gotta admit that going for the demon defense in the court of law is still a risky as fuck long shot. Like,
yes, but one of my favorite lines, and I'm not, again, we don't really talk about religion or blah, 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 blah on this show.
I know the line you're talking about,
but
though.
yes,
It's
one of my
good.
favorite lines in this, and I'm going to butcher it because I don't remember it off the top of my head, unless I have it. I might have written it
I was
down.
gonna say, see if you wrote it down. I might remember it pretty close to verbatim, but I'm not gonna get it verbatim either.
Let's see. Keeping all that in.
Where is it? Where is it? What does Ed say?
Yes. The line where Ed says, the court accepts the existence of God every time they swear on the Bible. It's about time they accepted the devil. That is such a good line.
Because it is kind of a true ironic statement that so many people...
Like, oh, I got goosebumps from that line just right now.
So many people believe in God, believe in Christianity, but don't believe in things like demons. And it's like, those are in the Bible too.
Yeah. You better start believing in ghost stories.
Yeah, you better start believing in ghost stories. You're in one.
You're in one.
But yeah, it is one of those call-out ironies of life, and especially because it brings in another point of we in America have what we call separation of church and state. And yet for every official thing regarding the state, like being sworn in as president or being sworn in court to swear you're going to tell the truth, it's always hand on the Bible to do it.
Yep. I thought we were separating all
I thought
this.
we were separating this, but I have to swear on the Bible to be in the state. And then, yeah, you're going to accept the existence of God and the Bible, but not that the demons who oppose him and that he banished ever existed. Like, come on now.
Come on now.
You're going to believe. You're going to believe all the way, right?
No, that line is just so good. From there, Ed and Lorraine began looking into how Arnie became possessed, and they end up finding evidence of witch totems placed in the homes of the Glatzels. This points to a human antagonist, which is pretty different for the series this time around, a satanic occultist rather than a random demonic attack, which we've seen before. Which I'll give my personal opinion on how I feel about that change later on.
My immediate reaction was, ooh, witchcraft, curses. This seems more fun than regular demons, but we'll see.
Okay.
So even I was like, I'm more interested in this, but also, who knows where it's going to go from here. Like, this is already vastly different than the documentary.
Yeah, it takes a kind of interesting turn. So from there, the Warrens seek out Father Kastner, a retired priest who has studied a satanic sect known as the Disciples of the Ram. Kastner confirms that the totems match their rituals, hinting that someone is deliberately cursing these families.
And side note, when they first show up to this pastor's house, Ed's all like, hey, nice to meet you. And the pastor just looks up deadpan and is like, I have chicken shit on my hands. And walks past him.
I don't think we see any chickens.
It's so funny. I think he's like tending to a chicken coop or like picking up in the garden, like in front of the chicken coop or something. He does live on a farm and there's definitely like a chicken coop at least in the background. I don't know if we see the chickens, but it at least makes sense like why he would have that situation.
Yeah.
But Ed like shows up ready to shake his hand, all like, hey buddy, I'm Ed. Reaches out and the pastor just stares at him with zero expression and goes, I have chicken shit on my hands. And then just walks away into the house.
Great first impression.
I'm like, oh, I love this guy.
Lorraine has a vision connecting the Glatzel case to a previous disappearance involving a young woman. The Warrens learn that the girl was murdered under similar occult influence, and Lorraine ends up retracing the girl's final moments, demonstrating her psychic abilities by shadow walking through the forest. This part, again, just why are we showing the Warrens working with the police? I don't know. I guess I get it, but it just seems like it's too much. I didn't like the whole like investigator Lorraine thing where she's helping the one police like find that one girl's body.
Almost becomes part detective in this one, and yeah, they're teaming up with the police, and it's like, we'll help you solve this case because then it'll help us prove our case.
Yeah.
You're gonna stand up in court with us once we help you, and the cop's like, we'll see. And I'm like, I do feel like in real life the cops probably hated the Warrens.
Yeah, I didn't care for that side plot.
And I do feel like each film, her clairvoyancy seems less and less like a heightened sense and intuition and small psychic ability, and more like just a Marvel superpower.
Yeah, they definitely. I guess not they, because Ed just, instead of getting more powers, gets a heart attack. But
he's just becoming an old man. Yeah. He's getting tired.
But she does become an Avenger-like character.
She does get a little too powerful.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, she's like Scarlet Witching people throughout this whole movie.
Exactly. Which we'll get into, because in the next part of the movie, Lorraine ends up making psychic contact with the occultist, who was a powerful Satanist who is performing rituals to claim souls. The occultist realizes that Lorraine is tracking her and begins to retaliate through visions, illusions, and threats. And again, you're probably telling by my tone, but I feel like this movie keeps jumping the shark over and over again. And now we have mind battles between an occultist and Lorraine Warren. And I'm just picturing in my head, because they always say these are based on true stories, the real Lorraine Warren doing all this. I'm like, there ain't no fucking way, bro. Look at the pictures of that.
Like, yeah, she looks like any like 70s housewife. Like,
you're telling me she had a psychic battle with an occultist, and the way this movie ends is wild.
Oh yeah, you gotta love at one point, you know, they're helping the cops, and she's on this mission to find this other girl who disappeared and find out her story so she can go Scarlet Witch walk through her dreams now and learn what it has to do with Arnie. And they're like, okay, we'll just go to the morgue so that you can like go near her body and then have your little visions. And the morgue is closed because they show up at like fucking midnight or something. Like, it's pitch black outside, and they're like, oh no, it's closed, we'll have to come back tomorrow. And Ed's like, nah, fuck it. Breaks a window and is just like, we'll leave a note, it's fine. Breaking and entering meant nothing back then, apparently.
By the end of this episode that you're watching right now, I will convince you that the Warrens ended up in jail after all of this, because there is no way they didn't.
Because if this really was based on a true story, they would have been in jail. And then Lorraine can't be told nothing. Like, the whole time they're doing this little side quest, Ed's like, Lorraine, be careful, pull it back. Don't go too far. You need to stop. There's a zombie in here. You really need to stop now. Lorraine! And like, she's just like, no, I have to go further. I have to see, Ed. I have to. And he's like fighting for his life in the background, trying to save her. And she's just like, I have to keep going. And he's like, please, Lorraine, stop. Like, she's like, nope, I'm going to use my powers however I want. And you just have to swoop in and save me, like always.
I feel like that theme continues in the next one, because I'm pretty sure that's in my notes for the fourth one. Is that Lorraine don't listen to nobody?
Yeah, that's in my notes for the fourth one, too.
Yeah.
And once again, this entire movie is essentially can be broken down and summarized to Ed and Lorraine screaming Ed and Lorraine at each other.
Committing murder.
It's 80% of their lines is just yelling each other's names.
In prison, Arnie becomes increasingly tormented, and he begins experiencing levitation, hallucinations, and an attempted suicide under demonic coercion. Debbie ends up fighting to keep him alive while the Warrens race to break the curse before the occultist completes her ritual. Which, again, the whole ritual thing was like just this big MacGuffin where she had to kill 3 souls to appease this demon, and that first soul that Lorraine found with the cops was one of them. I think there was another one, and now Arnie is the last one. Oh, what's his face? The landlord was the second one.
Oh, yeah.
And then Arnie would be the third one, and that would complete her demonic promise to
whatever deal
demon.
She made with the devil demon.
So there is a demon too. That's what pisses me off about it. I'm going on my rant a little bit earlier, but they choose to have a cultist and this human figure.
It's like a witchcraft curse man-made thing, but it's still
just a demon
to appease a demon's wishes and some deal made with a demon.
Yeah, and I didn't like the whole like weird underground satanic cult, them going, I don't know. I didn't enjoy the whole thing with the cultist.
Yeah, and they kept going. I feel like they couldn't pick a theme with this occultist where it's like, okay, is she a Satanist? Is she a witchcraft person? Is she
It's all
in
of
a
it.
cult?
It's just
Like, is it just like a kind of a little bit of this, a little bit of that? Like,
no, they just thought of everything that like an occultist does. That's what it felt like. It's like they
Yeah.
just Googled cult member and they just took all of like the actual occultist stuff, not your modern day cults that exist in
not
like
weird financial and sexual
Yeah,
gain
yeah.
based cults, but like
But, like,
these
actual
weird
occultist
witchcraft
stuff.
cults. The OGs, all right?
like they just looked at all that stuff and just copy and pasted it onto this character. She just had nothing to her. I feel like the entire time there was no even small like redemption. There's the small story they add in with her dad, but even they ruin that when she just kills him.
Yeah, it's weird because I don't know. I also wrote down that I feel like this one is the most fictional so far.
Yes.
And it is focusing more on the Warrens and their own little curse and haunting adventure, and less focus on the family and their haunting and the whole devil made me do it part of the story. It's really more about Lorraine's detective occult battle.
I literally wrote
Lady.
at one point in this, by the end of this movie, I'm like, who's Arnie? Because it just, that whole plot line seems to really slide to the...
It's like, yeah, they start out like this is what the movie's gonna be about, and then that very quickly just fades into the background and
he
into
gets
a
arrested
side
and that's
plot.
it. Like, what else would they do?
Yeah, it becomes a side plot.
And then they're at the trial at the end and it just feels so unearned. Like they had their whole own side quest and then they show up at the trial like, we support you.
And in the big climactic scene when they're fighting the occultist, Ed gets blinded again. He got blinded in The Conjuring 2 by the steam pipe.
Yes.
And in this one,
It's
the
sand.
witch
It's like
lady
pocket-
like
or I don't
throws
know what it
pocket
is. It's like
sand at
bone
his
dust,
face.
honestly.
I don't know.
I don't know what it is.
It's probably something witchy. It's some cursed little crystals ground up, and she just blows it
turns
into his eyes.
like red. Like they're
Yeah,
like...
it like blinds him, and then he like becomes possessed. It's a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah. So to finish up the actual plot here, the Warrens return to Kastner, the old priest, and discover that he once adopted a daughter. The daughter is Isla, the very occultist that they've been hunting. Kastner reveals that she was raised surrounded by forbidden rituals, which ultimately ended up corrupting her. And do you see what I mean there? There's just nothing that's not like substance of a character. That's what you'd expect.
The only good line in that I really liked is when Father Kastner says to Lorraine, we have to be careful how our obsessions impact our children.
Well, yeah, I do like that.
Because
that's
it's like,
right.
ooh, that's just a really good line because that is so true for humanity. But B, it's foreshadowing so much for Last Rites.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's right.
Was good. I'm like, okay, I feel like if that line hadn't have been in this movie, I would have liked Last Rites less.
I can see that.
But that line, having that connection in this one, it was like, ooh, that was really good, actually. But
Okay.
that was the only part. Like, I liked that line a lot. I didn't think it really made a difference for Isla's character, though. It was like, okay, that's not like, oh, but she had a tragic backstory that led her to this. It's like her father studied this as a priest, so he knew what to preach against and what to look out for. And then because he was always studying it, she became obsessed with it and fell for it instead of preaching against it like he did. And it's like, okay, then she was wrong. Like that's,
I mean, yeah.
It's not like some humanizing or redeemable fact that we learn. It's just like, okay, so she happens to be your daughter, and why is that even important? Why even make those two related?
I don't so pushed and not thought through. Lorraine then tracks Isla to a tunnel system underneath the ground beneath Kastner's property. But before that, like we said, Kastner's killed by Isla after trying to stop her. Lorraine
also, wouldn't he then just be the third soul?
Well, it's no, because she has to do the weird totem thing. Remember, she has to like leave that.
Yeah, she has to make somebody else commit the murder.
Yeah.
via demonic possession and witch modem.
Or suicide, I guess, because Arnie tries to commit suicide at one point. I think they
That's
just have to be
true.
possessed by these
Yeah.
I don't know. Again,
It's kind of all
makes
over
no
the place.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
They don't even know.
Lorraine is nearly forced to kill Ed under a compulsion spell, but Ed breaks free by remembering their bond by smashing the cursed altar.
You said that wrong. Lorraine doesn't
Yeah, I flipped
almost
that.
kill
Yeah, my
Ed. Ed is possessed and trying to kill Lorraine.
Yeah, sorry. After the pocket sand, Ed is running around possessed trying to kill Lorraine under a compulsion spell. So I guess she's a witch. But Ed breaks free by remembering their bond, which I do like that theme is, again, very reoccurring throughout the movies.
Once again, low-key a love story.
Yes.
It all comes back to how strong their love and their bond and their faith with each other and with God are.
Yep.
At the end of the day. And I do like that they stick to their guns about that recurring theme and with these characters. Like, it does make the characters at least not more believable, but more human or more likable, more relatable, because it's like, that's at the end of the day, that's what we all really want, or what we feel and want with each other. It's like everybody just wants connection and safety with each other.
I mean,
in some form, whether it's romance or faith or friendship or parent, like everybody just wants the type of love that can save them in the dark times. Like, and that's kind of what these movies really are about over and over again, is that it's no matter how dark things get or what demons they face, their love for each other and for Christ is what saves the day every time. Like, and it's like, okay, I mean, that's some cute full circle bullshit. I'll take it.
Yeah, it's sappy. We'll take it. Especially in this fucking clusterfuck of a movie.
Oh, yeah. And the actors for Ed and Lorraine, Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, I think that they really save these movies.
Oh, 100%.
Because otherwise we would be talking even more shit on the plot and the writing, I think. But because the actors are so good and so locked into their characters and to their love for each other, like, I really do believe them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, like, I'll take the ride with you, even though I think it's absurd.
After destroying the altar that breaks the occult ritual, and Arnie is freed from demonic influence at the exact moment he's about to die in prison, Isla's demon ends up turning on her and killing her as final payment for the failed ritual in a pretty sick, like, bone-breaking, almost Vecna kind of way from Stranger Things. She, like, snaps her arms back. And then the only actual vision we get of a demon in this one, or of the demon, is not even the demon, it's her. It's literally Isla that comes and, like, takes her. It's like a second version of herself that, like, comes out.
Although we do see another demon, because earlier in the film, when they first realize that I think it was a witch, or I think that, you know, there's something else going on here, we need to figure out how this really started. Let's go back to the Glatzels and find out where David originally got possessed or felt connection by the spirit. And there's that waterbed scene. Because I wrote down, I was like, that waterbed scene, reminds me of Welcome to Derry.
Yeah.
If you've been watching that new series, there's a scene
Welcome
in
to Derry
there.
reminds you of that.
Or yes, I guess you're right, because this one came first. Yeah, but I was like, ooh, that was kind of cool to see that done a different way, but it was also a demon. There was like some sort of demon.
That's right. Yeah. I think it was just an arm, though, wasn't it?
Don't.
Because I think the arm just reaches out and grabs Dave.
I think he sees like a face underneath, and then an arm reaches out and grabs him, and he like falls back, and it's just flooding water.
Yeah, not many demons.
So yeah, not a whole lot of demon jump scares. The one with Arnie about to kill Bruno.
Yeah, that's the biggest one.
I think is the biggest one.
For sure. Speaking of Arnie, he ends up getting convicted of manslaughter, but serves a reduced sentence somehow, ultimately marrying Debbie. Ed ends up surprising Lorraine by recreating the gazebo where they had their first date in another romantic kind of nod to their ancient relationship, bringing the story back to the theme of their love anchoring the chaos. And end credits.
And once again, it's like some slow love song or Elvis or something.
Yeah.
It's
Well, no, I think they're all usually pretty creepy songs at first, because they play the tapes usually at first over it. So I think during the Or are you
That's
talking?
the credits. I'm talking
Oh,
about
you're talking the
for those
actual
last
gazebo
scenes.
scene. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
those
yeah, yeah.
final scenes of each movie is usually just like a scene of Ed and Lorraine dancing,
Yeah.
like slow dancing and looking dreamily into each other's eyes and making smoochies. And it's like playing some Elvis or who's the other? I don't know. Remember, it's always playing like one of those classic love
Yeah,
songs,
like
though.
60s rock love.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like 60s rock ballads.
Yep,
like,
yep. So from there, real quick, before we get into our own little thoughts and feelings on this movie, I'm going to give some fun facts like we always do. Like I said earlier in the beginning, this was the first mainline film not directed by James Wan. James Wan handed the director's chair over to Michael Chavez, who previously directed The Curse of La Llorona. Wan still produced the film, but this is the first core Conjuring movie without his signature style behind the camera. And I kind of feel that. Like, this movie to me feels very different from the first two installments.
yeah. And in one way, I didn't like it as much. And in a different way, I liked it more. But we can talk about that in a second.
Okay. Our next fun fact is that the opening exorcism was one of the most complex sequences in the entire franchise. It required practical rigs, stunt performers, and heavy prosthetic work on actor Julian Hillard, and it was all filmed in that single cramped house set. So I think that's kind of crazy when you rewatch that scene to think that took weeks just to shoot that opening sequence.
Is pretty chaotic.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I mean, I believe it. I know how complicated filming is, so I believe it.
And the last fun fact I had here, just something to kind of tie it into humanity and something we all know. The film was delayed by the COVID-19 pandemic. Principal photography wrapped in 2019, but the film's release was pushed from 2020 to 2021, giving editors extra time to refine the movie during lockdown to kind of fix some of the stuff that they weren't able to ideally go back and get reshoots for. So just fun to think about all the actual issues that COVID-19 caused when it comes to like logistics like this.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all have a movie or a TV series that was greatly interrupted or delayed because of COVID.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a relatable one.
From there, we're just going to talk about some of the notes that we took during the movie. I don't know how much you have left, or if you have any left.
I think I'm mostly talked about mine.
Cool. I mean, hey, that's easy. I mostly talked about mine, honestly, too, as we've gone through. The main thing that I did want to bring up is, A, how the fuck did they explain the big dead body in the morgue later on that moved? And they broke into? Again, they should be in prison.
Yeah, they broke into a morgue and bodies had been moved and touched after they had left. So even if it's like, okay, well, we swear we didn't do anything, we fell over, we left a note that it was just us, like, so the court's just supposed to take their word for it, and even though this shit keeps happening with them, they're clearly repeat offenders. Yeah, it's all, oh, it's okay, breaking and entering, we'll just leave a note.
Yeah, this movie's plot was all over the place. The pacing was pretty rough, and I feel like there was a lot of little scares and long lulls of exposition that just didn't really pay off. And the whole cultist daughter side plot, it seemed, like I said, very random to me. I get they needed something to follow up Phallic and like some other kind of big bad, but this felt so lower scale compared to Conjuring 2. I don't know. It felt like we took a step back. Another thing is, how does nobody in the prison speak out for Arnie in the case after they watch him fly up in the air and almost commit suicide?
Yeah, there's a crazy possession scene in the jail where Debbie and one of the guards and a priest and a doctor and like there's like 4 people there between the immediate room and the other side of the glass. And Arnie's literally being possessed, floating in the air, like being ripped apart like in Stranger Things, and like screaming, kill me or something. And like the priest and Debbie are like throwing holy water on him and it's burning. And like, yeah. And after that, no one in the prison is like going to this guy's court case to be like, the devil did make him do it. I seen it.
I seen it.
Nope. They're all just like, maybe if I pretend I didn't see it, the demon won't come for me too.
I also put up in the beginning that little boy from The Exorcism, David, would be dead from all the body contouring that he does during this exorcism. I'm like,
yeah.
I added again. Does nobody's legs break or arms break? Nobody's bones ever seem to break in these movie series?
As long as you're actively possessed by a demon, your bones turn invincible.
But then I
So
wrote,
you can bend backwards and twist your head around and like crab walk down the stairs with your legs on top of your neck. And then when they unpossess you with an exorcism, you just unwind and go back to being a normal stacked human and nothing's hurt.
yeah, and then I wrote, okay, well, the demon lady's bones definitely broke because of the way she dies at the end. My final note that I had in here is, again, how the fuck did they explain the death of the father and
Father Kastner.
Kastner and Isla?
Because their bodies are just left in that house. Like the Warrens are like,
And they already broke into a morgue. I'm like,
they-
there's a lot of trail here.
yeah, it's like you leave this guy's house with his body and his daughter's body left behind. Nobody asks any questions about that.
I don't know how they were at
Nobody tries
Arnie's
to
trial.
pin you for manslaughter. Like Arnie gets caught like that.
Yeah.
But the Warrens are leaving behind collateral damage worse than the Avengers. Like,
Well, if you don't have any other notes, then we'll give our just overall thoughts and ratings.
yeah, my one other note was just that this one is clearly the most fiction, and that most of that comes from me having seen the documentary, so I know what really happened with the Glatzels and with Arnie. But also, this one just took such a jump from like a single household haunting where furniture is flying around or kids are being dragged across the floor or there's demons running up the stairs and doors slamming. This one turned into like a full-on action movie.
Yeah,
at
a little
some
bit.
points where it's like some of these sequences are ridiculous. Like I'm like, this isn't a haunting story anymore. Like this is there's like 4 different possessed people at once in this film, and all of them are like action hero lumberjack villains while they're possessed, and it's like how? I don't know. It's really starting to lose me. But in another sense, I like this movie still, even though I feel like it's vastly different and almost worse than the first 2 Conjurings. That's, if you're looking at it the way it's intended to be, is as the 3rd Conjuring. If I look at it as a standalone film and I try not to compare it to the others at all, and I'm like, let me just take this as it is, I do still like it because then I take it as more of like an action movie and like this more fictional and heightened horror, and like, I don't know, if you view it not as part of the series and not comparing it to the other more typical haunting stories, it is still a fun ride because witchcraft, curses, and murder are fun.
Oh, yeah?
They're just as fun as a house haunting, right? So, like, it's still a good time, but it is not really in the vein of The Conjuring anymore, which it's like, oh, but it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant when I said, I'm like, like, I kind of, like, clearly this one was worse, but also I kind of liked it more because I personally am more interested in things like cults, murder mysteries, detective fiction, and witchcraft than I am with church and faith demon possession stories. So for me, I liked this one more almost because it was like, this one's more fun and it has more elements that I like. But yeah, compared to the first 2 and taking it as a Conjuring film, it's like, you guys really went off the rails with this one. This isn't a house haunting anymore. This isn't a single possession. Like, this is straight up fiction. Like, there's no point in telling me this one was based on a true story at the beginning. The first 2, I could believe you by the end that this was based on a true story. This one is the first one that it's like, yeah, bullshit. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
So what would be your overall rating?
I think I'd give it a 6.
Okay.
I think I'd give it a solid 6.
Okay.
Fairly average. Maybe a half point above average. But I'm also generous. I don't like giving people bad ratings. I always have fun, even if I think it's a terrible film, so then I take that entertainment into account.
Well, I'll give my thoughts then, and then my rating. I wrote down here that this movie is, like I said before, the definition of jumping a shark. With a different head of the Conjuring projects now, it very much shows in this. The movie, while there were some good concepts and scares, it overall did not have that classic Conjuring feel at all. The whole cultist side plot, it was just too much to tie on to the Arnie Johnson story and to still claim that this at all is based on true events. I think that's the only reason they included the Arnie Johnson side is
so they could have that disclaimer.
Yeah. They keep doing this where they're only relying on these true stories now just to get that disclaimer in there. The Last Rites, like when we just watched that, has a very similar thing where it's like the Smurl family didn't need to be involved.
They barely are.
I know. These movies would have been better, honestly, if they just took a full fictional route to it. My overall rating for this movie is 5 out of 10. I think it's just average. Oh, no. Actually, I gave it a 4 out of 10.
All
Below
right, so
average.
yeah. So then our combined score would be a 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Strictly average.
Yeah, just borderline average. Yeah, I forgot I gave this a 4 out of 10 because of what I ended up rating Last Rites, which you'll have to see the next episode to find out.
Yeah, well, and I will say, like I said, I'm being kind of generous with my rating because I am able to still have fun even if content is terrible. And I'm the type of person who looks for the good and looks for the silver linings or the explanations where there are none and try to find the joy. So I always struggle with giving bad ratings to books or movies because even if I really didn't like it or thought they didn't do a good job, there's always things about it that I'm like, but this was solid or this part I really liked. So then it kind of makes up for some of the parts I didn't like. And like I said, I think if I was viewing this just strictly as the based on a true story part of the Conjuring series, it would probably be a 4 or 5 out of 10 from me too. But because I am able to kind of just let my sense of disbelief go and be like, no, this is just a fun movie. I know it's not based on a true story. That's just something Hollywood says. Like, if I'm not trying to take it at face value, it's still a fun film and it's got a couple really good sequences in it. And even as unbelievable and jumping of the shark as it becomes plot-wise, the watching of it is still like, okay, but this looks cool and this was done well, like in the film. Like, I don't know. The story, the plot, the writing definitely has gone downhill. The focus on the actual Conjuring vibes, that has gone out the window. But just as a movie in general, I'm like, it's still all right. It still holds up.
Yeah.
I had fun.
I get that. Well, there you have it. We gave it a 5 out of 10 altogether, combined with both of us. So, middle of the road movie.
It'll drop from the first two.
It's just dropped by one, essentially every single time. Not good, but typical for a lot of series that come out, to be honest.
I was gonna say, but there's a reason I'm such a hater of sequels. Because oftentimes they only go in one direction, and it's not good.
Yeah.
They often only go downhill a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more.
That's all for this episode. So thank you guys so much for joining us for another movie night. And be sure to tune in for season 2 when that drops on January 2nd.
We hope you enjoyed tonight's movie notes and ratings and ideas and commentaries and all the things about The Conjuring and The Devil Made Me Do It. We would love to hear your thoughts as well. What did you think of the movie? What would you rate it? How do you agree or disagree with some of our comments? Let us know in the comments on the video or send us a voice message on our website and we might even play it on the show.
Yeah. And be sure to share this podcast with your friends or even your enemies. We're not going to judge. Every little bit helps us out and boosts us in the algorithm. We can't say it enough, and we say it almost every episode now, but it really means the world when you guys share or comment or like. All that stuff really helps, and it's acknowledged. So thank you.
And remember to check out our website, mysterydatepodcast.com, our shop, mysteryandco.com, and all of our social medias at Mystery Date Podcast. Stay in touch, keep up on our new activities, things about the show and our life, and new merch. All the updates will be in all those places.
That's all. So be safe and have a great rest of your day or night.
And remember, every good movie deserves a date.
Just maybe not a second one.